Hey YouTube, it's Mark.
And Rocky.
And we are
This Cruise Life.
Today we're talking to you about an exciting announcement from Margaritaville at Sea. On December 4th, 2023, the cruise line announced they would be adding their second ship to the fleet.
That's right. They actually bought a ship from Costa Cruises to move over to become Margaritaville At Sea Islander.
So the Islander is a 12-deck ship. It was the former Costa Atlantica, and she's got a ton of features and similarities to the Spirit class ships in Carnival Cruise Lines.
That's right. We're going to be looking at the Carnival Miracle and comparing her deck by deck to the new Margaritaville At Sea Islander.
It's going to give you a preview of what to expect on this new ship. We're also going to pull in a lot of the renderings from Margaritaville at Sea. It looks like it's going to be great.
Yes.
So let's talk about Carnival and Margaritaville and how these two ships compare.
Let's start at the top of the ship on deck 12. Carnival Miracle Sky Deck, Margaritaville At Sea Islander, Nothing But a Breeze.
What fun naming Margaritaville at Sea has chosen. So this is that elevated deck that around the Carnival Miracle is
Yes.
the glass atrium for the steakhouse, the funnel.
Right, as part of the main funnel.
Super cool feature. Now, Costa didn't obviously have a glass funnel on their ships.
They had their usual giant smokestack that was painted yellow with their giant C on it. I'm sure that's going to look very similar to what we see on Margaritaville at Sea Paradise. And then it has a skylight that sits directly over the atrium and looks all the way down to deck 2 floor.
How cool. So both ships feature glass up there that let in natural light from the ship. But of course, the funnels are going to look different. To your point, they will paint that Margaritaville at Sea around that sea. Let's jump on down to deck number 11.
Carnival Miracle Sports Deck and Margaritaville At Sea Islanders Caribbean Amphibian. It's a mouthful to say. At the very front of the ship, we see a skylight on both of the ships. On the Miracle, that's over the spa/fitness area, whereas on the Islander, we're not really sure what that's over. It looks like there's staterooms, but that doesn't really make sense, so we're going to have to stay tuned to see what that's all about.
Can you imagine? Hey down there, how are you enjoying your stateroom?
A little strange.
As we move aft from that, on Miracle, we see the basketball court, but on Margaritaville at Sea, we're going to see pickleball at sea, which we did see on the Paradise as well.
We did, absolutely.
What is really interesting is both deck plans highlight that there is mini golf after that as you head back further. However, Margaritaville at Sea Islander introduces, and I'm going to read this because I think this is super interesting, one-of-a-kind themed cornhole challenge course.
Sounds like fun.
That is not on Miracle or on any ship that I've seen, and so I'm super intrigued to see how that space is. The theming looks amazing. Take a look at that theming.
Yeah, I'm excited to check that out. Moving aft from there, on deck 11, we see a space that is not on the Carnival Miracle, and that is the Land Shark Lookout. This is a really awesome spot where you can go up and get a bird's eye view of the entire ship and what's happening.
How cool is that? In fact, it's not on any of the Carnival Spirit class ships. Now, the space existed on Costa.
Yep.
It's not labeled as being ever used or accessible by passengers, so a cool feature to check out on Islander.
Yeah, very excited about that. As we move a little bit further aft of there, we come to Nick and Nora's restaurant on the Carnival Miracle. That is the steakhouse. And on the Islander, it is JWB Prime Steakhouse.
Now, what will be different from the Carnival Miracle is that that upper level of the steakhouse is underneath the glass of the funnel. It's such a beautiful space on the Carnival Spirit class of ships. The Margaritaville at Sea, of course, it will have a skylight. We're not sure how much of that skylight will be over the steakhouse versus the atrium. So we'll see what that looks like when the ship comes out.
So true. And then at the very aft of deck 11, we have the water park. Carnival Miracle calls it the Carnival Waterworks space. Whereas on the Islander, it's just a single water slide.
Yeah, very different. So Carnival has really expanded that space with multiple water slides and some kids' splash areas. According to the deck plans for Margaritaville at Sea, it is
just a water slide.
Just a water slide.
Which is fine.
Yep. Deck 10 is the sun deck on Carnival Miracle, but it's the Lucky Star deck on board Islander. At the very front of that deck is that wraparound public space that we love. I guarantee you we will be spending plenty of time out there.
Yes.
As you move inside of the ship, the Costa version of this class just had staterooms there. So on Carnival Miracle, you're going to see the treatment rooms in the upper level of the spa, the gym.
And Club O2.
Club O2.
As we move aft from there, you're going to find your elevators and stairs. Very same configuration across both of the ships, so nothing more there. And as we move aft from that space, we find the upper deck of the Land Shark Lookout Bar. It's pretty fun. It's a cool bar. It's a new addition to the Islander that the Miracle does not have, but it was on the Costa Atlantica version.
Yes, absolutely. And then as we move further back, you've got that open space below to the Lido deck, the Magradome on the Miracle. Now, the Islander does not show that they have a Magradome, but we pulled up the Costa Atlantica deck plans, and we can confirm that that Magradome is there. It is intact. And I will tell you, Margaritaville at Sea is not spending the money to yank that entire thing out. That covered area when it's inclement weather, we love the Magradome on these ships.
Totally true. And then behind that space, we have the lower deck of the Steakhouse on Miracle, as well as the Steakhouse Lounge on the Islander.
Yeah, so what I love about the Steakhouse on this class of ship, and Islander has it as well, that floating staircase that goes up from the lower level to the upper level.
It's so cool.
And it floats over the atrium, that open to below atrium.
Yep.
It should be absolutely beautiful. I'm super excited. And you know what I'm really excited about? The fact that Islander will have a dedicated steakhouse. Remember what it was on Paradise?
It was just a cutout of the main dining room, the Finn's restaurant on Paradise.
They just put
Strange.
They just put some curtains around it and to mark it off as a steakhouse. So I am really excited to see how this turns out on board Islander.
Same. And then at the very aft of Deck 10, we find the run out of the water slide on both of the ships. So not really much of a change here.
And some lounge space.
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump on down to deck number 9, which is Lido on Carnival Miracle, and it is
5 o'clock somewhere on the Islander.
I love that. So at the front of the deck,
on the Miracle, we happen to see a wraparound deck, another one of those spaces that we love, and that surrounds the fitness center lower level, as well as all of the Cloud9 spa services. You have your salon down there, some extra massage rooms, and other treatment spaces.
Yep.
Now, when we go over to the Islander, it's totally different. Now, this was how it was adopted from the Costa Atlantica.
Yep.
We have 30 staterooms in this space. We have the St. Somewhere Spa and their treatment rooms for that, as well as potentially a fitness center. We're still not sure what's happening with the fitness centers on the ship.
It's how it was on the Costa version of the ship, and we expect it to be the same. However, there is another space on the Islander that is labeled a fitness center, so there's multiple places where we could see fitness on board.
We're working out.
What is this, Virgin Voyages? Before we head aft and exit the spa from the Carnival Miracle, I do want to just take a moment of silence for the fact that the sauna and steam room, those long sauna and steam rooms with the glass to the outside that we love, all of those cool showers, those giant shower rooms, all of those are gone and they are not present on the Islander. So I do want to call that out because that is a huge change and it is something that we love about the Spirit class on Carnival. Hey, let's go outside because there is something that isn't different between the two ships, and that's Lido.
That's correct. So we have the forward pool, which is the Sirens pool on the Miracle, the Land Shark pool on the Islander. They both look amazing. Yep. What we saw on the deck plans for the Miracle and for the Costa Atlantica was that they have a hot tub in that space as well. Islander doesn't show it, but are they really going to pull the hot tubs out? I don't think so.
There's going to be a hot tub there. As we move after the pool, what's interesting is, and this is a difference between the two ships, on the Carnival Miracle, there's a bar on port and there's a bar on starboard.
That's
correct. The bar on port is the Blue Iguana Tequila bar, and then on the starboard, it's the Red Frog Rum bar.
Right. On Islander, it's very different. We do not have a port side bar at all. Instead, we just have the 5 o'clock bar on the starboard side.
So you've kept the two bars that Miracle have. They've just
stack them,
put them on top of each other, right? Because Land Shark bar was up top,
correct,
and 5 o'clock bar is down below.
That's right.
Well, and it's ironic, or it's perfectly themed that the 5 o'clock bar is there because as you come aft, the 5 o'clock pool is there,
That's
which was
correct.
the Ulysses pool on the Miracle.
Right. As we move aft from there, both the Miracle and the Islander don't have any type of a screen or anything like you would see on some of the other Carnival ships, so no seaside theater.
Yep.
Instead, what we have is just our normal stage there. You can have a band up there, you can have different performers come up on stage and give a performance for the crowd that is in that space.
Hey, it's where we counted down New Year's to 2023. Watch this.
And then as we move inside, on the port side of the ship, on the Miracle, we have a Blue Iguana Cantina, where you can find your favorite arepas, breakfast burritos, lunch burritos, etc. And on the Margaritaville at Sea Islander, we still have more tacos.
Rita's
I'm
Taco
excited
House.
for that.
It's a new restaurant,
Yeah.
Rita's Taco House. They did not have that on the Paradise.
Not enough space.
Super excited.
Yeah.
On the Starboard, they don't have Guy's Burgers like they do on
Correct.
Miracle, but they do have Cheeseburger in Paradise. And I'm
course.
super excited because we loved that venue on board Paradise. And so really cool to see that there.
We have yet to find out the differences that are going to happen inside the Lido buffet area. On the Miracle, we have Chopsticks Asian cuisine, which we love on that class of ship. Whereas on the Islander, they don't list that space or don't label it. When we looked at the Costa Atlantica deck plans, they did have some sort of food service happening in that location. So we're thinking chances are good that they're still going to have something on the Islander.
Kind of like they did on Paradise, where they had the main buffet stations, and then they had, when it was during the busy times, they had the secondary
Yep.
buffet with the same items on
Right.
it. I would fully expect to see that again in the buffet. Moving aft in the buffet, you've got on the Carnival Miracle, the deli, as well as more buffet stations.
Right. And on the Islander, instead of having the deli, we have Frank and Lola's Pizzeria. Now on the Paradise, that was an upcharge venue. We'll see if that's the same on the Islander. And then you also have the buffet.
Okay, y'all, I will buy Rocky a drink if it's not an upcharge restaurant. There's no way they're going to say, oh, we're just going to make this free on this ship.
Let it be free.
I hope so. Okay, on the Miracle, you've got the salad bar, you've got Bonsai Sushi Express, which is
Yes.
really awesome. Neither of those exist on the Islander, of course. They have...
Margaritaville Coffee Shop. Cool. I don't know. It's kind of taking away from the buffet space, so it'll be interesting to see how they lay this out.
I'm kind of excited because on several of the other Carnival ships, this is where they've crammed in some Java Blue stations
Oh, yeah,
in the
little
buffet
coffee.
area. So this is where Margaritaville decided to put theirs.
Okay, cool. And then as we move outside on Deck 9, we come to the aft of the ship where the Miracle features the Serenity adults-only area. Now, on the Islander, it is also the adults-only area, pool, and potentially hot tubs. They're not labeled, but the Atlantica did have the hot tubs back there. And that is the Tiki Bar and the Tiki Pool.
What's interesting is they also have two dining venues listed
Oh.
back there. They've got the Tiki Grill,
Yeah.
and they've got the, what's the other one called? The Island Eats. We don't know what either of these options are. They're not on the Paradise.
They are not.
And there's no details about them. They're shown in the adults only space, so will only adults be able to eat at these restaurants, or will there be access from inside the buffet?
I'm okay with it.
I love it. We will keep you posted when we get on the Inaugural for this sailing.
Absolutely.
I think that's everything for Deck 9.
It is.
That's a lot. Of course, it's Lido. Deck 9 is always busy. Let's
Always.
jump on down to Deck 8 forward.
All right. We have reached Deck 8. On the Miracle, that is the Panorama Deck, and on the Islander, it is Limes and Salt.
How fun.
I'm thirsty. On this deck, we just see staterooms. The Miracle managed to cram in one extra room towards the forward of the ship on this deck. Remember, that is where the bridge is located, so just a different configuration.
But otherwise, it's identical.
Same thing.
Okay, we're down on Deck 7, and you will notice that the ships are very similar. It's the veranda deck on Miracle, and it is the...
Painted Sky on Islander.
How fun. But what you'll see on Islander is they've added in some grand suites or bigger suites on this ship. And so it changes the numbering, and it also reduces the number of rooms on Deck 7.
Right.
However, one other interesting change is 7107 and 7108. They're labeled as extended balconies. Now, they're not sold as extended balconies on the Carnival version of the Spirit class, and they weren't sold as extended balconies on the Costa version of this class. And so it is really interesting. Margaritaville probably measured and saw they had an extra foot on each balcony, and they're like, hey, let's sell these as extended balconies. So just something that is different between between all of the ships.
Right.
Let's jump on to deck 6.
Deck 6 on the Miracle is the Empress, whereas on the Islander it is
Last Mango.
Last
I love
Mango.
these. I
They're
love
so
their
fun.
deck names.
So deck 6 actually is a flip-flop as far as the Islander is to the Miracle. So on the Miracle, we saw some grand suites. They were massive, took up a lot of space. And on the Islander, we don't see those suites present. They're just some standard staterooms and suites there.
So it changes the numbers again.
It does.
And changes the space. But if you look at deck 7 and deck 6, they just essentially, like you said, flip-flopped.
They do. And also at the forward of deck 6 on the Islander, they saw some extra space and capitalized on it. 6112 and 6115 are extended balconies, unlike the Miracle and the former Costa Atlantica.
Interesting. I'm going to be very curious what people think about this extended balcony stateroom. So let's jump on down to deck 5. That is the upper deck on Carnival Miracle, and it is the changes in attitude on Islander. This is where, at the forward of the ship, this is where you'll find the kids club. So on Carnival, it's Camp Ocean.
Yep.
And then on Margaritaville, it's
Jollyman.
Jollyman and the Parakeets Kids Club. As we head aft of those kids clubs,
Yep, we see all staterooms, all numbered the exact same from forward to aft. The only change that we see is the design of how they did the first 6 staterooms on the Islander. For some reason, they're squared off, but based on the Miracle and based on the Costa Atlantica, they are definitely not the same size.
they're going to not look like that. Plus, again, the Islander found a way to add 2 more extended balconies, even though they are not sold as extended on Miracle or Costa.
Right.
I just love this. This is the stuff we geek out at. If you have made it this far, you've likely already subscribed to this channel, but if not, hit that subscribe button.
Yes, please.
Let's jump on to deck, because that's the rest of the deck is just
That's
rooms,
it.
right?
Yep.
So let's jump on down to deck 4. Rocky, take it away.
All right. Now we find ourselves on deck 4, which is the main deck on the Miracle, and Coastal Confessions on the Islander. On the Miracle, we find the Cove, which we're not really sure what that space is used for. It's like a meeting space, but not really, but it is, and it's kind of
For kids.
For kids.
It's an underutilized space.
Very much so. And then immediately adjacent to that, we have Circle C. On the Islander, we have QMN. No idea what this is.
And
we searched for it everywhere.
I've done a lot of
Yeah.
research on QMN. I've Googled QMN Margaritaville, QMN Islander, QMN Jimmy Buffett, QMN, anything to do with this ship. Nothing.
No idea. So we'll be curious to see what that is. And then right next to it is Fins Up Fitness. So apparently another fitness center in addition to the one that we saw on deck 9 earlier. So we're really not sure what's happening here.
Well, keep in mind, Margaritaville At Sea Islander does not list a fitness center on
Right.
deck 9.
Right.
We looked at pictures of the Costa Atlantica, and they had a gym up there, and they had a gym down on deck 4 here. So we don't know where the gym is. Well, we do know. We do know that on deck 4, it's going to be Fins Up Fitness. We don't know what's up in that spa area. If
No.
they're going to have equipment up there, or if it's just going to be treatment areas.
That'll be very interesting to see. And then as we move aft from there, we have the upper deck of the...
Main theater. Oh, on the Carnival Miracle, it is the Phantom Lounge. And then on Islander, it is
Stars on the Water.
Stars on the Water, which is consistent with what it was on the Paradise
That's
as well.
correct.
As we leave the lounge or the theater, that's where we have staterooms. Those are the obstructed room staterooms because they look out over the lifeboats.
Yep.
Now, the only difference we see on this deck, quite honestly, is the Islander has 2 less lifeboats than the Miracle. Now, the Costa version of the ship does show those 2 lifeboats there, so I don't think the Islander's just yanking out a couple of lifeboats, but we'll see. Jumping on down to deck 3. On the Miracle, it is the Atlantic deck. On Islander, it is Living It Up, which is super fun. Now, here's an interesting thing. I love this space on the Spirit class. There's a space that wraps around the entirety of the forward ship. On the inside, it wraps around the theater, and it's what leads you actually up to those kids clubs and the Fins Up Fitness that we talked about. It is obviously listed on the Miracle. That is Gatsby's Garden. We spent a lot of time in that space.
Yes.
It is also listed on the Costa version of this space. It's a mysterious area. It looks really cool in the Costa version. Now, Margaritaville at Sea does not map it out. However, we do believe it will still be there because that is the pathway to get up to those clubs and the Fins Up Fitness Center and all of that stuff. We're curious how they're going to theme it. I'm super curious how they're going to theme it. Because it wraps around the second story of the on the Miracle, the Phantom Lounge, and again on the Islander, it's the
Stars on
Water Theater. Yep. Okay, so we leave that mysterious space and we leave the theater, and what do we find?
That is where we find the warehouse and Sam's Piano Bar on the Miracle. And on the Islander, it's the Tween Club and Havana Daydream and Sports Bar.
Yeah.
Mouthfuls.
Yeah.
And then in that area, the Miracle had a staircase that takes you down to the lower deck in that space. And we confirmed on the Costa Atlantica that it also had it, even though the Islander doesn't show it on the deck plans.
We'll take pictures. We'll take pictures when we get on board.
Yeah.
As we go aft of that space, that is where we run into the shops. And so on Carnival Miracle, you've got Cherry on Top, you've got your fun shops, and you've got the, remember the yellow brick road
that's so cool, yeah.
that winds through the shops?
Yep.
On Margaritaville at Sea, we also see the shops Live Life Like a Song and Island Time, with that winding road through. Now, it's not called the yellow brick road, so it's probably not going to be as cool, but the winding road does seem to cut through those shops as well.
Yes.
So then, as we head aft, on the Miracle, we've got the studio, which is kind of their, that's where they take their
pictures.
professional pictures.
Yep, Dream
this
Studio.
Is different.
Right, on the Islander, you're going to find the concierge and future sales if you want to book another cruise while you're on board.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What's the concierge?
No idea. It's probably for the suites. That would be my guess.
I'm curious what that's going to be.
And then complementing the rest of this area, which surrounds the main atrium for the ship, we have the photo areas where you can pick up your pre-printed photos and look at how happy you were across your cruise.
I love that space. As you head aft on the Miracle, you come to the Gotham Lounge, which is also adjacent to the conference center. It's not a branded conference center, but you have the conference center. This is actually the same on Islander.
It is. And on the Islander, we've got the Bubbles Up Lounge, and right next to that is the Compass Rose Conference Center, which we saw on the Paradise.
I'm hoping Bubbles Up Lounge has champagne drinks.
That'd be cool.
That would be fun. Okay, let's leave the lounge and go aft from there.
Absolutely. That finds us into the Bacchus Dining Room on the Miracle, that beautiful purple-colored grape restaurant.
It's one of my favorite dining rooms on board a Carnival cruise ship. And then on Islander, of course, it is the Finn's main dining room. We ate at the Finn's main dining room. We were actually really surprised and enjoyed it when we did our full review. We ate there on board Paradise. It's the same. It's a 2-story dining room, just like the Miracle.
That's correct.
And one last thing to mention on Deck 3, it's one of our favorite features on this class of ship. It is that aft wraparound area at the back of the ship. You can walk out there and take beautiful pictures, and you can watch sail away.
It's watch the wake.
It's an amazing space on the Spirit class of ships.
It is. Now let's step down to Deck 2. On the Miracle, that is the promenade level, and on Islander, that is the flip-flop deck. That's just fun to say.
So at the front
is the theater. It's the first level of their 3-story theater. No changes, just obviously design elements that'll look different between the two ships.
Yep. And then as you come aft of that on the Miracle, this is where we find the Joker card room.
Yep.
We love those card rooms.
Yes.
You've got Java Blue there, and then just a bunch of seating in that area on the starboard side of the ship.
Correct. And then on the Islander, that's where we see the teen lounge.
Which is weird.
Yeah. And we also see the
Far Out Arcade and Lounge. That's a mouthful. And those are both on starboard side of the ship. So I guess the teen club and the arcade being together,
that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
On the Carnival Miracle port side, that's where you actually find the Red Frog Pub.
Yes.
We love that location.
Right.
Along with the Skybox Sports Bar.
Oh, yes. And then on the Islander, we have the far side sushi as well.
And boba.
Boba. Yeah, they serve boba, which is awesome. I love boba. It'll be cool to see how they do it on the ship. Of course, it'll probably be an upcharge.
I was going to say if they keep it from Costa, but we're talking about the Islander.
We are.
Yes.
And then there's also the World Lounge adjoined to that space.
So kind of a seating area.
Yeah.
As we leave that space and head aft, we enter the casino.
Right.
Now on the Carnival Miracle, unfortunately, as they have done with the Spirit class ships in dry dock, they have yanked out that casino bar, but
the Islander still has a casino bar, and there's also a bandstand, so you can have live entertainment while you're hitting the slots.
I'm excited to check out the Love and Luck Casino on board Islander.
Yes. And then as we move aft from there, we come to the first floor of the atrium for the ship. And both ships actually are very similar in that they have a guest services counter and they have a Shorex counter. They also have a themed bar for the space. So on the Miracle, that is the Metropolis bar area. Whereas on the Islander, that is the flip-flop atrium. So kind of sticking with the theme of the deck and the theme of Margaritaville at Sea.
Really fun. When you come over to starboard on the Miracle, it still has the internet cafe. I don't know how much longer that's going to last.
Do they even have computers in there?
On the Islander, it's just a blank space, so
Right.
we'll see what that is when the ship launches. Although on Costa, it was also a blank
Yeah.
space, so it might just be a crew area.
It could be.
Okay, let's leave the lobby and go further aft.
As we go aft from that space on Miracle, we see Fleet favorite Alchemy Bar. We love that space. Some of our favorite drinks are there. And then on the port side of the ship, you have the entrance to Dr. Frankenstein's Lab Dance Club. That's a mouthful. There's too much going on there.
Even on the deck plan, it's like 4-point font because there's so many words.
And there's multiple lines.
Dr. Frankenstein's Lab Dance Club.
Yep.
On Islander, it
Yes.
will be the Hot, Hot, Hot Dance Club.
So much easier.
We forgot where Alchemy is on the Islander.
Yeah, on the Islander, it's Hemisphere Dancer Craft Spirits. So we lose the mouthful from the Miracle and add it to the Islander.
I'm going to be curious what this craft spirits bar looks like.
Yeah.
They're taking a cue maybe from Alchemy with craft cocktails.
Oh, that's true.
Right?
Right.
Okay, so as you move aft from that space, you find the separated out kind of annex areas for the dining room. On Miracle, you've got the Ariadne annex, and on...
Yeah, on the Islander, it is the Pearl's private dining room.
Ooh, sounds fancy. And then, of course, it is the main floor of the main dining rooms on both ships.
Right. So you have the Bacchus dining room on Miracle, and on the Islander, we've got Finn's restaurant.
That's the back of the ship, and then hopefully a lot of windows that we can look out. Now, let's jump on down to deck 1 forward and wrap this up.
Sounds good. We made it to deck 1 of both ships. Yay! What a journey this has been. On the Miracle, we are on the Riviera deck, and on the Islander, we are on the Coral Reef deck.
Ugh.
As we head into those spaces on both of those ships.
One of my favorite spaces on a Carnival ship is on deck 1 forward of the Miracle.
So
What's
cool.
it called?
It is the Mad Hatter's Ball Lounge.
It is chock full of characters from Alice in Wonderland, and it is just... look at these pictures in this
so
video.
cool. Yeah. And then on the Islander, we have the Coral Reef Lounge. And based on what we saw with the Costa Atlantica, if they keep the theming, it's gonna look stunning.
Oh my gosh. The whole room is surrounded
Yeah.
by
Coral
coral reefs. It's just a really cool space. Again, it'll be one of the first places we check out on our
Oh
own.
yeah, for sure.
When we leave that lounge, we come to staterooms.
Yep.
And they're all the same. They're right down to the numbering of the stateroom. So come on
Convenient.
all the way back to the aft, which is our final spot.
Yes, that is the lowest level of that beautiful club. Frankenstein's on Miracle and Hot, Hot, Hot on the Islander.
Yep. That is a ton of information for you to digest about the Islander, the Miracle, and even the Costa Atlantica
Yeah,
as we went
right.
back and we scoured through all of those deck plans.
Right. So we appreciate you watching this video. We hope that you took away some good information. As an FYI, we are on the inaugural cruise of the Margaritaville At Sea Islander. So if you haven't done it already, please make sure that you subscribe to our channel for all that content.
And if you couldn't tell from this video, we have been on the Carnival Miracle many, many times. It is one of my most sailed ships, and we absolutely love that ship. We've both been on it,
We have.
so we hope that you've enjoyed our walk down the ship as much as we've enjoyed it.
Absolutely. And just as a side note, the Carnival Miracle is a Spirit class ship from Carnival. You can also find similarities between the Carnival Spirit, the Carnival Pride, the Carnival Legend. So there's a lot of similarities between all of those ships.
As Rocky mentioned, we're going to be on the inaugural of the Margaritaville At Sea Islander, so hopefully we'll see you there.
Absolutely. And drop a note, drop a comment below if you saw something that you liked or if you wanted some clarification on something we went over. Please engage. We love it.
Yes, awesome. Until next time.
We'll see ya. We have Frank and Lola's Pizzeria. Now on the Paradise, that was an upcharge venue. We'll see if that's the same on the Islander. And then you also have the buffet.
Okay, y'all, I will buy Rocky a drink if it's not an upcharge restaurant.
Yes.
There's no way they're going to say, oh, we're just going to make this free on this ship.
Let it be free. Is it cheeseburger in Paradise or cheeseburger in Islander?